In 1968, a young up-and-coming actor named Martin Sheen appeared in a groundbreaking adaptation of Shakespeare's Hamlet in New York City. This performance, which was called The Naked Hamlet or Hamlet as a Happening, was met with glowing praise and ultimately helped launch Sheen's acting career. In the following years, he appeared in successful films like Badlands and Apocalypse Now. On TV, he played U.S. President Josiah Bartlet on The West Wing and recently wrapped up as the character Robert Hanson in the Netflix original series Grace and Frankie. Join Facts First as we take a look back at Martin Sheen's 6-decade career in the entertainment industry while revealing what he says are some of his biggest regrets. Martin Sheen was persuaded to change his name. Martin Sheen had a challenging upbringing. During birth, his left arm was crushed by forceps, leaving him with a condition called Erb's palsy that severely limited the lateral movement of that arm. It also resulted in his arm being 3 inches shorter than the other. Sheen's father was a factory worker at the National Cash Register Company. Being an immigrant from Spain, Sheen's dad knew he had to work hard if he wanted to provide a decent life for his wife and 10 children. For a while, Sheen's father's work required him and his family to live in Bermuda. After returning back to Dayton, Ohio, Sheen contracted polio and was bedridden for a year. In time, his doctor was able to help him regain use of his legs. When Sheen was 11 years old, his mother suddenly died, and he and his siblings faced the possibility of having to split up and live in foster homes and orphanages. It was through the help of the Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Dayton that his family was able to stay together. Sheen felt drawn to acting from an early age, but his father didn't approve of that interest. Martin doesn't blame his dad for this, however, as he knew he only wanted what he thought was best for his son. And being an immigrant, he knew how difficult it was for someone of his ethnicity to succeed in America at the time. Sheen borrowed a bit of money from a Catholic priest and made his way out to New York City in his early 20s. For 2 years, he performed with the Living Theater Company. It was around this time he was persuaded to adopt his stage name, Martin Sheen. The name came from a combination of the name of the CBS casting director who gave him his big break, Robert Dale Martin, and a Catholic televangelist archbishop named Fulton J. Sheen. Sheen later explained he chose to change his name from his birth name of Ramon Estevez after experiencing several instances where he would call for an audition appointment only to experience some hesitancy after stating his name. Once he'd actually make it to the appointment, however, and the casting directors would realize he was, quote, white passing, all that initial hesitancy would be gone. So, figuring he already had enough trouble getting acting gigs, he went ahead and invented the name Martin Sheen. His legal name is still Ramon Estevez, but after he started making a living using his stage name, there was no going back. Sheen says one of his biggest regrets is that he didn't keep using the name given to him. He further revealed that the fact he had chosen another name was something that always bothered his father while he was still alive. Martin's son kept his name. Emilio Estevez is best known for being a member of John Hughes' famed Brat Pack. Other members include Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall. In The Breakfast Club, Estevez played Andrew Clark, a young jock in his high school's wrestling program. He also appeared in films like St. Elmo's Fire, The Mighty Ducks, and The Outsiders. Both of Emilio's parents, along with his 3 siblings, all found success in Hollywood, but some might not realize this due to Estevez's contrasting last name. While his father, Martin Sheen, adopted a stage name to avoid being typecast, and his siblings, Ramon and Charlie, both chose to adopt the Sheen name professionally, Emilio never considered following suit. Charlie's birth name was actually Carlos Estevez, but by the time he was getting into acting in the early 80s, his father Martin had already become a well-known figure in Hollywood. Instead of trying to pave a way for himself under a different name, Charlie decided to go with the flow and adopt his dad's name as well. The former 2.5 Men star, however, later decided to drop his stage name when appearing in Robert Rodriguez's 2003 film Machete Kills. Unlike his brother, Emilio decided against using the last name Sheen for his acting work. In 2020, he told The Guardian that while his father earned his name, he hadn't. He also expressed he liked the way his double E initials looked. Even though he refused to adopt his famous father's stage name, Emilio was still able to find success in the film industry. While his brother Ramon initially used the last name Sheen professionally, he has since reverted back to his birth name. Emilio's sister Renee likewise has chosen to follow his example by using the name Estevez in her professional career. Emilio can be seen as Billy the Kid in the upcoming neo-Western film Guns 3, alias Billy the Kid, which is slated to hit theaters on August 3, 2022. Martin Sheen still regrets turning down Silence of the Lambs. Despite having a prolific Hollywood career, Martin Sheen has a few regrets about some of the roles he's either chosen to do or has turned down. He was originally offered the role of Jack Crawford in The Silence of the Lambs, but turned it down because he was concerned about potential violence that might ensue. He told Page Six he was torn at the time because while he loved the script, he was worried someone would be inspired by the film to actually kill someone and use their skin to make a lampshade. He had the foresight to know the film would be an enormous hit, but after starring in Apocalypse Now, he wanted to instead go with a lighter-hearted role. Sheen explained he had already felt like he had killed enough people in Apocalypse Now. Incidentally, the role of Jack Crawford went to his co-star in that film, Scott Glenn. Sheen has also turned down roles in Blade Runner and Anthony Hopkins' Magic. He turned down the latter because the script called for the actor to bash his agent's brains out with a puppet. Instead of going with Silence of the Lambs, Sheen instead signed on to appear in Anne of Green Gables. The Apocalypse Now scene Sheen regrets. Apocalypse Now has been called one of the best war films of all time, but apparently it wasn't an easy film to make. Constant production setbacks, coupled with rampant alcohol and substance abuse on set, made things very difficult for everyone involved. In fact, it was one booze-fueled scene involving Martin Sheen that the actor says he regrets filming. The scene in question introduced the audience to Captain Williard having a drunken breakdown in a hotel room. The character proceeds to break a mirror and smear blood on himself. It's a pivotal scene that sets the mood for the rest of the film and immediately clues the audience in on the character's troubles. Behind the scenes, however, Sheen had his very own on-set meltdown while filming the scene because he was actually drunk while filming it. After returning back to his hotel room after the scene was filmed, Sheen felt intense shame and terror at the sight of the shattered mirror and the blood-covered bed. Francis Ford Coppola insisted he review the footage, but he couldn't bring himself to do it. Sheen has said, however, that he finally saw the scene after Apocalypse Now premiered. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite Martin Sheen role? Let us know in the comment section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to FactsVerse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content. By the way, if you haven't joined FactsVerse as a member yet, be sure to look below this video and click the join button. By becoming a paid member of FactsVerse, you'll get access to exclusive video content that you won't find anywhere else. This includes some of our more mature content that isn't suitable for public audiences, which includes topics like Hollywood actresses who posed for Playboy and some of the steamiest moments in movie history. Plus, you can enjoy these videos completely ad-free. Our biggest fans will notice they also get badges next to their name when they leave comments on our videos. We pay special attention to comments from our members, and so do other viewers. So if you want exclusive content from FactsVerse or inside access to discussions with other community members, click the join button to get started for just $4.99.